There I am, and full face. Okay, welcome to this live, and welcome if you're watching this afterwards as well. Okay, the topic for this live is the dream. This is something rarely spoken about clearly, but it is something very important and something that keeps many people staying in the narcissistic or toxic relationships. And this is the dream that one day the person that you fell in love with will return. One day things will finally work, they will click if you endure enough, or find the right method, or if the circumstances surrounding you, your life circumstances, the economy, the children being a bit bigger and so on, if everything clicks into place, then the relationship will be magical again. And this is so the hope, this dream is, I think, the main thing that keeps people stuck and trying, sometimes for years. Now, of course, it's not the only thing. There are also sometimes or often other things that keeps us stuck, but that's the topic for another video. But this dream, it is not holding on to that or thinking that things will, if I just wait a bit more or try a bit harder, it will work, we will be good together again. That doesn't come from stupidity or from weakness. Actually, this dream is carefully created and also maintained and fed during the relationship. So this is what we will be talking about today. And I want to be clear that today this live stream is not about telling someone what they should do. It's about understanding this dynamic and this very important mental trap, let's say. So first I will go through how the dream is created, because it often comes early on in the relationship. It is created in the love bomb phase, and then it is maintained during the abusive cycles. And we will also talk about how the confusion about who the toxic or narcissistic partner really is, the confusion between the kind version of them and the cruel version, and that is also something that is related to the dream. And the confusion keeps us trying and working to find a solution. So first I will talk about the topic, and then in the second half of the live we will do a Q&A. So you're welcome to write in the comment section, in the live chat, that's the name. And if you're watching this after the live, then you're welcome to write in the comments if you have some comments. So let's get into it. Okay, the dream. This is an image. I had to choose one that was a bit abstract because it still triggers me, even though I have clearly seen through this dream. And well, I did so, especially the last year of the relationship, I had seen through it and let go of that dream. But well, I can still get that if I do a search for romantic images, then I can still be a bit triggered by it. So I'm using this illustration. The dream is, as I said, created in the beginning of the relationship. Because when you first meet this person, the toxic or narcissistic person, things are magical. They seem really invested in the relationship. They seem smitten by you. They seem very much in love with you, drawn to you and want to spend time with you and do activities together. So they invest in the relationship. And the relationship, it is effortless, or it can feel effortless. They want to listen to you talk and want to get to know you. And many of us feel very understood in the beginning, the love bomb. Partly because they are mirroring us. So they are reflecting back to us a lot of our values and dreams, and give the impression that they have the same values and dreams as we do. But also because of the fact that it is so intense in itself, it creates a lot of falling in love and feel-good hormones. Well, we feel often very good and have a lot of very beautiful memories of this period, because it is a period and it can go on for several years sometimes. And we will come to this a bit later, but later on, this love bomb phase will come back in small glimpses, what is called mini love bombs or honeymoon phases. Okay, but the beginning of the relationship, or the first couple of years together, when you felt in love and it was mutual and you felt understood and there was not a lot of conflicts and there was a lot of passion and you were close and so on. That is what lays the foundation for this dream. Well, when you think later on, when problems start to appear, you will still feel that, well, once things did work out between us, so we can be good together. There is something that has happened now that made things change, or they're under stress or pressure, and like something has happened, but we used to be good together and we can be good together again. So the rest of the relationship, you will spend working to get back to this initial stage, but the dream. Okay, and if we're talking about a narcissistic relationship, but the same patterns seem to be present in a lot of toxic relationships. It does not have to be with a person who has a diagnosis of NPD. When I've read about the dynamics that is like described in abusive relationships with an abusive partner does not have a diagnosis, it sort of follows the same pattern, even though we might name it differently. But in the narcissistic relationship or in the toxic relationship, there is this initial stage called the love bomb, where they sweep you off your feet, where they are very romantic and invested and attentive and interested in you. I'm sorry, I have to take a sip of tea. I have a cold. Okay. So the beginning of the relationship is magical, but then slowly and gradually, they start to devalue you. So they start to withdraw a bit. They are not as interested in spending time with you. They no longer hang on your every word. They may be a bit tense or cold or even annoyed. They want to spend more time on their own. And there may be more. So in the beginning, they're very happy to do things the way you want to do them. But as they are devaluing you and treating you as you being less valuable, they are gradually at the same time behaving in a way that would show that they are more valuable. So looking down upon you a bit, and they now want things to be done their way. And they want you to adjust to that. They may be annoyed at the way that you do things, and so on. And this devaluation, it gradually continues and become more and more intense. So they treat you worse and worse as the relationship progresses until the relationship ends. And the ending, if they leave you and they are a narcissist, it's sometimes called a discard. But the relationship ends. And usually before it ends is when they treat you the worst that they have ever treated you. So there's a gradual slippery slope down to being treated really, really poorly by the partner. So why would we stay with someone who treats us worse and worse and worse? Well, the next slide will explain this. Because even though we can divide the relationship into these phases that I showed on the previous slide, that's like the big overview. But then there are these small cycles within the other cycle. So the relationship in itself, let's say, it's sometimes referred to a cycle because the narcissistic person will go through the cycle with that one partner, and then they will start a cycle with another partner. But I actually do like a similar small cycle with you over and over again. And this is what's called the abusive cycle. So the abusive cycle starts with a honeymoon period when things are good between you. It feels good. They treat you really kindly, and they are romantic, and things are fine. But then things start to shift. They are a bit tense or withdrawn. And this period usually lasts for quite a long time compared with the other parts of this abusive cycle. So they are a bit cold. They may not talk to you that much, or not respond to your messages, or respond very shortly. You feel that something is off. So during this tension period, you ask them, has something happened? Are you angry with me? How are things at work? You're trying to find out what is wrong. What is wrong? And then there is the blow up. So then you have conflict. They usually don't treat you very nice during the conflict. They may verbally abuse you or say some mean things or raise their voice, or and you're devastated. So, and then there is the reconciliation. You talk things out. You think that you have now understood each other, and things go back to fine again. So they go back to the honeymoon phase again. And then you are happy on cloud nine. You're holding hands and they are sending lovely texts, and you feel that, okay, so that was just a misunderstanding. I knew that we were good together. They are so sweet. But then slowly, after a period, and in the beginning, the honeymoon can last for quite a while. So there may be several weeks where you are happy and things are good, but then gradually things are tense again, and the tension builds up until there is another blow up. And you make up, and then there's the honeymoon. So it goes like the toxic relationship is not, it's not stable everyday relationship. It's either really good, or there is this feeling that something is wrong that you are trying to fix, or there is a conflict, or you're making up, or you're back to fine again, but it constantly shifts. And in the beginning, you might not notice this, like how much, how dramatic it is and how much it shifts, because the relationship may mostly be in the honeymoon phase of the abusive cycle in the beginning. So those phases may, like the cycle is a long honeymoon, and then there is like a small period of tension and a little conflict, and then it goes back to the honeymoon phase again for a long time. But gradually, as the relationship moves on, then there will be more tension, more conflicts, and that honeymoon period will be shorter and shorter. So you can't seem to make that. You like, no matter how hard you try, because of the cycle, like the cycle makes us try to figure out what is wrong, to stay in that good phase, not to do the thing that set them off previously, and so on. But no matter how hard we try, it's impossible to stay in that honeymoon phase, because actually the cycle turning, it has nothing to do with our behavior. It has to do with the toxic person. And so they will inevitably go to the next phase in this cycle. And why is that? Well, because they don't want to stay in the honeymoon phase. First of all, the honeymoon phase or the love bomb, it is not sustainable because it is not based on reality. It's an act on their part. It is so intense because unlike like healthy person who finds a new partner, who, like, you get to know them a bit, and it goes slower, and they are not fully invested right at the start. So they are disinvested because they have decided that um, they want to be in a relationship with you, or they want you to get hooked on them. And then they move fast and they sweep you off your feet by doing mirroring. So reflecting back to you your values and your style of interacting, and they are putting on this act that they're very much in love with you and give you a lot of attention and really give you a lot of value, and they are investing a lot, but that is not their goal for the relationship. They don't want to keep investing and putting in effort and trying. So the toxic person wants a relationship where they get benefits from that. So they want you to be invested. They want you to do things for them. They want you to do services for them. They want the perks, let's say, without the work, and that's why they are toxic. So that honeymoon or the hook, it's just there to get you to invest, or get you to stay with them, or get you to forget how abusive they were in the last blow up. But the bulk of the relationship will be this tension, the devaluation, and the blow ups. And the honeymoon phases will get smaller and smaller as the relationship progresses. Let's see, time for another sip of tea. Okay, so we talked about the big cycle in the toxic relationship and the smaller abusive cycle, and how it keeps turning. Yes, and every time we get back to the honeymoon, of course, the hope, the dream, it gets fed. We see it like proof that they're still there, they still care, they can still be amazing and romantic, and they still love us. Let's see, what else? Yeah. So this keeps the dream alive, even though for most of the time in the relationship, they are not like that. But because we see that glimpse of them being that nice person that we fell in love with, we still keep or we still have that hope and the dream that it will, like, they are still in there, they're just under pressure, or something is keeping us from connecting like we used to. But in the future, we will figure it out. Every relationship has its bumps, right? Okay. And then there is also a lot of confusion surrounding the abuser. And this confusion is actually made, like, it is created by the toxic person. They create the confusion on purpose. But we are confused to why they are acting like they are acting. And they are themselves giving reasons for it. They may say that I have difficulties expressing myself, or I've been so hurt in the past, so I have difficulty trusting women. I'm under pressure. My boss is stressing me out or demanding too much. and you have to be patient. Or he has anger management problems. Or he might blame you for the problems in the relationship. You are demanding too much. You don't really care about him. You are making him jealous on purpose, or you are selfish and thinking too much about your career, or you are the one who are creating the arguments. You always have a way of bringing something up when, like, in a way that creates conflict. And of course, you also might think about the problem. Why is the relationship not working? Why do these difficulties keep returning? Okay, so I will actually, I have talked about this book before, but I'm still reading it, and it's by Lundy Bancroft, who worked with abusive men for 30 years. And I have a link to this book in the description, but you can also find it for free on YouTube. So there is an audio version that you can listen to. But I will read just two or three sentences from his book. And he talks about abusive men, and you may not identify your partner as abusive. But what he means with an abusive abusive man is a person who verbally assaults you or treats you poorly. So it doesn't have to do with physical abuse only. But here's what he writes about confusion. And as I said, it's based on 30 years of working with these men in groups trying to rehabilitate them. The abuser creates confusion because he has to. He can't control and intimidate you. He can't recruit people around him to take his side. He can't keep escaping the consequences of his actions unless he can throw everyone off the track. So, as I said when we went through the abusive cycle, if you are with a partner who only treats you bad, like you go on a date and he says that I don't know what he says, but it's mean, and then he runs off, then you won't go on a second date with him. And if you had a partner who was nice for like a few weeks, but then he started to act really poorly and only got worse over time, then you would not stick around. But that's not how they do it. So they keep rehooking you in this abusive cycle, and they switch between treating you really horrible and then going back to be super kind and apologetic. And also like they shift their behavior, but they also on purpose creates this confusion, blaming different things around them, or blaming you for his behavior. And there is if you've heard the short Darvo, this is what it means. It's like I can't remember what the letters stand for, but it is basically he is pretending that he is the victim, and that you are the person who has caused the problem or who has attacked him. So there are so many ways of expressing or explaining the same mechanisms. So that's another word for it. Let's see. So and then there is another thing that also keeps you hooked and keep you believing in this dream, and that is called intermittent reinforcement. Perhaps you've heard this word. It is the most powerful. Sorry, I just saw a comment. Keep the comments going in the live chat if you want to. I will go through them later during the Q&A. But Bright Page wrote Darvo. Yes, Darvo. Exactly. Okay, but back to intermittent reinforcement. This is the most, or one of the most, or the most powerful tool, like a mechanism that keeps you addicted or hooked to something. And it is exactly the thing that keeps people playing at casinos or online games and keep them stuck in front of this game, because they don't know when they will win. Perhaps they will win with the next pull of the lever, or they might win with the next click. So it always feels like the win is right around the corner. You never know when it will show up. And every now and then they get a little boost of dopamine, which is a rewarding and addictive hormone in the brain, because every now and then they will win something, and then they get this kick, but they never know when they will win. So if you would go to a gaming machine and then you knew that you would win every third time you played, then no one would play, because it would be now predictable. And then it would be boring, and it will lose, like the point would be lost. But because you never know when you will win, one time you may sit there and play the whole night and there is nothing coming, like there is no win. And one day you play, and then you start off with a big win, and then you get another big win a little later in the evening. So, and this is exactly the same mechanism that a toxic or narcissistic person use with you, because this that we're talking about now, it is not unknown to them. They know that you want their attention. You want them to be nice again. They can see your face shining up and the eyes going blank, when they give you a bit of love bomb. So they know that that's what you're after, and they withhold that purposefully, and then so they withhold their reward, and then they will hand it out to you when you least you can never predict when they will be nice, or you can't, their behavior is not controllable. One time you will do something that makes them really happy and make them they will treat you good for a while when you did that thing, and another time you'll do the exact same thing and they will still be sour or cold. So this is another powerful thing that is involved in keeping this dream alive. Intermittent reinforcement. The feeling that if I just try a little more and endure a bit more, then I will get that big win and we will be happy ever after. Okay, and the last psychological mechanism that is involved in keeping the stream alive is normalization. And normalization is something that happens naturally, not only in toxic relationships, but we are subjected to normalization all the time. And I have illustrated this by, by temperature and by pain. But we are normalized to the way that we live every day. So, for example, I live in an industrial nation. I'm sitting at the kitchen table. I have a cup of tea here, and I'm warm and cozy inside. And this feels natural to me. I don't think about it when I wake up in the morning. I could, if I make an effort to do a gratitude list, yes, then I would perhaps, or then I would feel grateful for the things that I have. But mostly I'm just normalized to my way of living. But there are millions in the world or around the world who don't have running water in their home and don't have indoor heating and so on. So we get normalized to what we have around us in our everyday life. And if we talk about normalization to temperatures, if we're used to things being cold when we go outside, that's completely normal. I think many years ago, I was doing research in a group in Gothenburg. It was one of the Swedish cities. And the professor said that he had run an experiment, but he discovered that the experiment was that he wanted people to put their feet into cold water, so ice water, I think. I wasn't part of this experiment, but he just told us something that he had done previous years. And I can't even remember what they were supposed to measure. But the result was messed up because of the fact that they hadn't thought about the fact that people from different nationalities would react differently to having their foot in ice water. So people that was originally from the Nordic countries, they could keep their foot inside of this ice water for longer because they were more used to a cold climate. But then they had some people that were from warmer countries originally, and they could not stand to have the foot in the cold water because they were not as normalized to interacting with colder temperatures. But I think that it is the same thing. I read that if Northerners would go to the desert or the very hot countries, then I think there's even a term for that. They usually get sick in the first few days because the body is not used to that environment. Okay, that's not a topic, but interesting, I think. But normalization, temperature and then pain. If you constantly have an ache in a part of the body, then you get used to having that pain. It is still painful, but you sort of eventually adapt to it. And in the toxic relationship, like in the last part of that relationship, you're treated really badly, but you have gotten used to it, so you don't feel that it is that, like, that's your everyday, so that's just them. And you don't see how, or you may not see fully exactly how bad it is, because that's just how things are. And I noticed this after leaving, and it didn't happen right away. But as I got normalized to living in my own home and not having to think about what I was doing, like when I lived with him, I constantly was like judging myself or reflecting about, oh, I can't do this, I can't leave the dishes, I have to get them done, things can't look like that, and I can't just sit here and rest, and so on. But after leaving and after being no contact with him, I got used to slowly being much more relaxed. And for that first, let's see, when I got used to that new level of feeling good and being relaxed, then I could understand how bad it had been in the end of my marriage. But when I was in it, I couldn't see the bad parts fully. And because you can't really feel how bad it is, because it happens so slowly, like the boiling frog analogy, that also keeps you hanging on to the dream, because it still feels like, well, it will be worth it in the end. This is how things are, but I can handle it. And eventually we will get through this crisis or this bump and things will be better. So normalization also plays a part of it. And Bright Page suggested that perhaps I mean acclimate. Yeah, perhaps I do. I think you get the point. Okay, so I thought that I would tell you how. So I wanted to share an example from my own marriage, how this dream was kept alive. And yeah, we've gone through everything theoretical. So the love bomb phase, or the good phase of our relationship, lasted for many years. Yes, there were rounds in the abusive cycle, but they were short, and there were a lot of good interactions. And yes, there was this slow, very, very slow devaluation, but not very steep. And I think that, I cannot be sure, but I was quite young and I was not yet stuck in the relationship. And the usual pattern is that they wait until you get stuck to really start to show the worst sides of themselves. So when things really started to turn bad, or when I noticed that things are not good, that was when I was pregnant with our second child. Yeah, and this was many years, like more than a decade into the relationship. But then it would sort of play out like this. He would be tense. He would not be very talkative. I would try to get him to interact, and he would not really respond. I tried to get him to talk about what was wrong. I tried to cheer him up. I tried to make a good dinner. I thought that, well, perhaps like I am really like my body is changing, so perhaps that is why he's more withdrawn, or perhaps he's not that attracted to me. Perhaps he's worried about the finances because we'd had some financial bumps before this. Yeah, but he was cold and I was worried. I felt that something is wrong in our relationship. Is he thinking about leaving me, perhaps? Or is he not in love with me anymore? So things were tense. He was tense and cold, and I was worried and overthinking, analyzing like what happened before this started. Was there something that irritated him, or have I done something? Yeah. And that would last quite a long, like several weeks. And then I would get increasingly worried. And eventually I would get tired of waiting for so I really wanted to know what was wrong, and I tried to a bit more forcefully talk to him. And this, me trying to talk it out, this would eventually lead to a blow up. So it would quite quickly escalate into an argument. He would start to get angry, and hi, Lisa. we will come to the questions then later. Okay. He would start to get angry and like escalate, and I would try to explain myself. And he would accuse me of something, like not trusting him, or trying to start a fight. And I would get upset and sad, and I would cry, and then he would get even angrier because now I was crying. Now I was really trying to start a fight, and I was always crying, and then I was really crying. So it would escalate very quickly, where he would get really, really angry, and I would get devastated and crying, and then I would try to apologize and explain myself, and he would then want to run off and never see me again, and I would hang on to his shirt and beg and cry, and it was really horrible. And then he would be extremely angry or cold and not speak to me for a few days when he eventually returned. And then we would have a calm conversation where he would open up, I thought, and he would say that things like, I am not good at expressing my feelings. If I don't talk to you, it has nothing to do with you. I'm trying to deal with my own worries. So you should not be so insecure, and you should allow me to have space. And I really, really love you, and you mean everything to me. You and our kids and our family, and that's the only thing I'm thinking about. And I am feeling like a failure for not being sure that I can provide for you. And I just want you to be understanding and not create these conflicts again. and he would sound really sweet, and I would feel that we finally connected, and that next time I would surely be more understanding and try to be patient, not create conflicts, and so on. So blame myself and be more careful. But I thought that he sounded very sincere. So, and then things would be really, really good. So it went back to the honeymoon. But of course, I had no idea about this abusive cycle then. And then he would be really romantic and things would be good. And that would last for a few weeks until the tension started again. And even though I tried to not say anything, eventually he would like treat me dismissively or put me down or criticize me until I couldn't take it, and then we would go for another round. So that's how it was for me. And I wrote, like, I have this whole stack of journals from these years. And I remember writing in my journal one day. I was trying to figure out what was wrong. And I wrote like, I feel so stuck, and I was comparing him to a blanket. So it feels like he's suffocating me, and he's like this cold, wet blanket. But he used to be this warm and fluffy blanket who I felt like protected me and loved me. And I don't know what happened, but he obviously, like, it's the same guy, but he's not treating me the same way. So something must be like, I must find the solution. I don't know if you recognize this. Okay, but that dream was very powerful. Yeah, and even though now, so it has been 2 years since I left, and I'm very happy for that. And I have seen through these dynamics, and I've understood that the dream was never possible, because it is not possible with these type of toxic persons. But I can still get, so sometimes I still get reminded of that dream. It still has this pull. I'm watching, so this is weird, but there is this on YouTube. I don't know how I started to watch this, but it is a Turkish historical series called Magnificent Century, like about the great Sultan Suleiman in the 16th century, I think. Like when the Ottoman Empire was like he was expanding it. And I'm watching this series. I think it's quite good sometimes, and knitting, and they have this very beautiful costumes, and there is some military action going on. So, but then sometimes the Sultan, and he is quite oppressive. Often he's a dictator. But then every now and then he will look at his wife, who he has treated poorly, and he has cheated on, or it's not called cheating when he has his own harem, but and then he will give her this deep look, like he really loves her and he so much appreciates her. And then I will cry and feel like that's what I wanted. But I think Hollywood also keeps this dream alive, because there is a lot of movies where you can actually see, if you know about toxic dynamics, then you can see how, this relationship is very toxic. But then because it's Hollywood and it's not for real, then it ends amazingly. So Beauty and the Beast. He locks her in and treats her poorly, and then they live happily ever after, or yeah, and so on. Okay, so I will start to go through the comments, and if you have any questions or comments or have experienced anything yourselves, then you're welcome to write it, and let's start in the beginning. So let's see. Bright Page was the first to write. Hey all, hope is high. Yeah, it was high, but then I killed it. So, but I'm sorry. I know you meant for the live, and I'm very appreciative of that you feel that way. I do enjoy these lives, so I'm happy that you do too. And then you write, "Hi, I made it. I got to pick up my daughter from B-ball, but I will listen on the way. Thank you." Oh, that's an honor. Then you listen on the way in the car, or I guess, or walking. And then Bright Page says, "The Hoover gets shorter too, from a week to 24 or 48 hours. Duh. Oh, you mean that they hoover more intensely? Is that what you mean? Yeah. If you're not responding to the hoovers, or if you could, like, I am not sure if it is a hoover if they do that, because it could also be more in the area of control or stalking. A hoover is usually swift, like it's a check-in. It doesn't mean that they want to necessarily get you back into the relationship. They may just want to check your temperature to know if you're still interested in them. So they reach out to you a while after the relationship was over, with the lame excuse. Oh, I forgot something over at your place, or I have a question about this bill. Should I pay it, or should you? Something, an excuse. And then if you don't respond positively, then they usually go away. If they start to hoover more and more intensely, it may be a person who has control, like who were controlling in the relationship and does not want to let go of control after the relationship is over, and that can cross into stalking. So be a bit careful. I do have at least two videos about the difference between hoover and stalking on my channel, if you want to check it out. Yes, Darbo was the, is it called acronym? Sometimes I feel a bit let's see, not very smooth with the English, and right now I have a cold, so my throat is aching and it's getting worse. But you're kind enough to put up with it. Okay, yeah. And Libby said hi. Let's see, another suggestion for acclimate. Let's see, Lisa. Hi all. Hi Lisa. I think it's the first time that you are here, or at least commenting. And then a heart. Okay. Let's see. The man I was marrying left me for his married best friend. A man. That's embarrassing. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, yes, I understand that you would feel embarrassed and heartbroken. It has nothing to do with you. This as like it, and I've heard this before, and this Landy Bancroft, who have worked with the toxic abusive man, also actually writes about the fact that some of the men he has worked with, or who has come to his groups by court order, they are actually then going into a homosexual relationship after the abusive relationship with a woman. But I think that it just confirms that the love bomb is not real, no matter what kind of partner they go on to afterwards. But I'm sorry you went through that. Let's see. And then Lisa says, don't believe a word a man says after the first lie. Yes. That's, I think, if a person is lying to you, yeah, we should be very wary. That's something that we learned the hard way. How much, like how bad things can be if you get involved with a person who lies. And then Lisa says, men deserve nothing. Oh, you're in the angry stage. Yeah, I can get why you feel that way. But I think that after having seen for myself how, yes, if you've seen a lot of these abusive men, then I totally get that feeling. I have seen for myself the other side of it. So my mother was abusive and my father was the target, so to speak. And I've also listened to a few male survivors of similar dynamics. So I think that, yeah, even though it is more common that men get physically abusive, and also with the control that seems to be more common with men, it's not only men. Some women do this as well, and there are some good guys out there. I saw this documentary, I can't remember which one, but it was about like people who had killed their partners. But there were a few of the cases where there was actually women who had abused their male partners mentally, but then decided to end their life through different means. One of them was in the US. There was a police officer who the partner shot him with his own gun. So, and it was believable. Like it was not self-defense from the evidence that they presented and the kids who witnessed it and so on. So I think even her own, like the woman's own children witnessed, were witnesses and told the police what they had heard and the arguments and so on. So it was clear that she was the aggressor. Let's see. Okay. Lisa says, don't let him steal your energy. Don't let him near your portal. Sorry, that sounded a bit naughty. Unless he's worthy. Okay. Yes, but I agree on the principle. We should not let people steal our energy and let them close to us. And like after going through this and after waking up to the fact that these dynamics exist, and the people who will like take advantage of our compassion and love, they exist, and it's more common than you might think. Then definitely the outlook on how to get into a new relationship and so on changes. Let's see. Libby says, when we moved in together, things began to change. Yeah, that's common. Moving in together, if you get married or if you have children together, things like that often like it's after that things start to deteriorate, and it is like precisely because they wait until you can't leave, so you're now tied to them, you have more things invested. That's also actually a reason why we don't want to let go of that dream, because we have invested a lot, years, money, time. We are betting on them, so to speak, and we don't want to realize, or we don't want to admit to ourselves. I think that realization becomes more painful when there is a lot at stake. But it's cruel. Let's see. Then Bright Page says, Lisa, that seems more common than people talk about. You're so brave to be here. Yes, you are brave, Lisa. And I guess that you mean that it's more common that they move on to like a homosexual relationship afterward. Yeah. And Lisa says they are shapeshifters. Yes. Yeah. Many of them don't have a stable core or a stable identity, and even like the values that they claim that to, like the moral values that they claim to hold on to, they can easily change them if it does no longer fit their interests. And I've heard many say that they can also change their sexual preference, like which if they want the male or female to be in a relationship with, according to what would benefit them. Yes, yeah, thank you, Brightpate, for the support. Let's see. Our second, third baby came close together, and around that time, things began to sour more consistently. Yeah. Okay, so for you, it was after the second and third baby. Yeah. And when that happens, like I don't know how long you were together before that, but because you had one child before those, so it was a few years, and then things starting to deteriorate after a few years. Then of course we think that, well, it must be the kids or it must be the circumstances. And in my case, it was more than 10 good years. So I was not educated about like abusive or toxic relationship dynamics. I didn't know that things could turn like that after so many years. We think that, or I thought that, well, an abusive partner that should show earlier, right? I don't know what you thought, but I think that's one of the reasons why it's so important to spread this information. Let's see, and then right page says, here comes my daughter, I got to drive her back, but I will catch up later. Okay. Let's see. Okay, go down here to Lisa says, yes, a first timer. Okay, yeah, welcome. I do these live streams the same time every Thursday, so 4 p.m. Eastern time, and in Europe, Central European time, it is 10 p.m. if you want to join us again. Let's see, and Lisa says, tricked. Yeah, you mean that you were tricked. Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry that, like, it is so mean and cruel what these people do. And then you share that, I feel numb now. I'm very sorry. Was it very recently that this happened? These things brings up it brings up a lot of emotions. I can speak about it a bit calmly and with some distance because it has been 2 years since the separation, but let's see, it was 2016 that things started to turn bad between us. So I lived in an abusive, really horrible relationship for many, many years. So I had time to process it and eventually let go of the hope. But yeah, I'm sorry that you are in this very difficult stage of processing. There's a lot of emotions, of course. And sometimes I think that our mind just protects us from all that processing by turning the feelings off. And as you say that you feel numb, there is, yeah, I get that. There is sadness and anger and disbelief and all of the feelings that we have to go through. If you've heard about the 5 stages of grief, this is something that we go through after the abusive relationship is over, but often it is not only one thing that we grieve. Often there is complex grief involved because if a normal relationship ends, then we grieve that. But when a toxic relationship ends, yes, the relationship is over, but we also have to process that they never loved us, they abused us, we lost a bit of our dignity, and we may have lost time. Some women lose childbearing years with these men. We may have lost there's a lot of things surrounding the relationship, and sometimes other people that we also lose when the relationship comes to an end. So there's a lot of things to grieve, but for all of these things that we lose, we go through the abusive cycle. So it is, if I remember correctly, denial. We don't want to really think that it is true. Then it's bargaining, or trying to, okay, but it may be true, but it may not be that bad, or trying to bargain with reality. And then it is anger, sadness, and acceptance. And you can go back and forth between those stages. And all the feelings are normal. Yeah. And you were not, as I said, it was not your fault. He tricked you, and he put on the act, and he pretended to be in love with you, and he told you that he wanted to marry you, and then yeah. So, and I think all of us who are here were tricked in some way. Yeah, let's see. Lydia says the triangulation narcissist does jump from new supply to old supply, and the old supply always take them back. Why is that? Oh, do they always take them back? Let's see. We had someone over here that was Hoovered and did not accept Hoover. So, but yeah, I get it. At least it is common enough that the old supply takes them back for you to have noticed it. I think that many people go through this narcissistic relationship and come out on the other side discarded, not realizing that this was an abusive or narcissistic relationship. They go through the relationship and they are still confused about why it ended. They may still be blaming themselves for bringing that thing up that they shouldn't have, otherwise things would have worked out. And they may still be trauma bonded to the narcissist. We do not talk that much, or we did not mention trauma bond here, but it is basically because it is something that happens when you go through the abusive cycle. So when the relationship is constantly shifting between them being kind and nice and then being cruel and or tense, then there is this intense emotional connection taking place where you feel very or you feel more drawn to the person than you would in a normal relationship. And if there is a distance created between you, if they withdraw or if you try to back away, then you get a lot of anxiety from that distance. But those dynamics and the hope that it could still work is still active in many persons who have survived the relationship because they have not understood what happened. So many previous partners are still a bit in love with, not in drawn to this person who can be very charming if they want to, and they hoover them, and the person gets love bombed again, and they hope that now it will really work out. So I think that's why. And Lisa says, great question. Yeah, I have a free video about the trauma bond and explaining that on my channel if you want to watch that. Let's see. And then, you're sad, Lisa. I understand that. Let's see. And then you said, thank you. I don't know if you meant to me, but you're welcome if it was. I'm happy that you trusted us with your story and that you felt safe to share And it's a good thing that you have understood a bit about what happened and learning about it. And it's a horrible experience. But yeah, we try to process it and learn and understand what happened so that we won't get into another such relationship. And we can perhaps talk a bit. Yeah. So after we come out of such a toxic or narcissistic relationship, we still, as I said, I still have this, let's see, the dream is dead, but not completely dead, because apparently the Turkish series can still ignite it. But there is this trap when we get out of such a relationship that we are a bit more prone to falling into another toxic relationship if we don't take a pause and understand what happened, because we come out with this trauma bond inside of us, and it is not like, even if we left the relationship, those the trauma bond is actually something that happens in the brain, and there is a lot of hormones involved, and that dynamic could easily be reignited in another relationship. But also we come out with this, we still, if we have not fully understood and processed and grieved that dream, and come to the acceptance that it was never possible, it was an illusion, it was something that they created, and healed that trauma bond, then it is easy to, if we meet another person who starts to love bomb us, we may not recognize that this is a love bomb. It may just feel really good, because now we are getting loved after being starved for love. Like in the end of that relationship, we are often starved for love. We are feeling devalued and put down and treating poorly. And here now is a person who really treats us good. And if we're not conscious about, oh, this might be a love bomb, then we may fall into that trap more easily, and the trauma bond dynamics are already there in place. So take some time. I would advise you to learn the dynamics. As I said, I have a free video about the trauma bond. And I also have an ebook that I've written about these dynamics that is also free. I think I put a link in the description if you want it in text form, but I also have it in an audio book version here on YouTube, free. So that could be helpful. Let's see. Yes, and Lisa said, yes, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. And then you say, I could never do this to anyone. Oh, you could never do this to anyone. No, I understand. You're a kind person who have compassion and empathy, and who are not looking to abuse your partner and take advantage of them. And those are beautiful qualities, so keep them. The guy that you were involved with did not have, I don't know the whole story, but from what you shared, I would guess that he is a toxic person. He was looking to take advantage of you. So that the toxic persons don't look for a equal relationship where you get to know each other and share and cooperate. They are looking for a relationship where they will get more. Let's see, you will do things for them, and or they will get something back, and they will get more than you. So let's see. And then Lisa says, now I'm abstinent for life now. You mean that you will never get into another relationship? Yeah. I get that. I think many of us feel that way coming out, or many feel that, yeah, you say right, yeah, right. Yeah, many of us feel that, yeah, I'm like, I will never give it another try. And I think partly that can be healthy, like that feeling, and that's fine. That's fine if we want to never be in a relationship again. It may, like, but even if you don't want to be in a romantic relationship, you may want to learn the dynamics anyway, because the same pattern can happen in other relationships. Like, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a friend who starts to treat you or demand a lot of support from you, for example, or who misunderstand you and there is some conflicts. Or there can be a boss or coworker who start to create some conflict or put you down and so on. So there can be similar dynamics going on in other relationships, even if they're not romantic, or with parents or siblings, for some of us. So, of course, it is rarely as intense or causes as much damage if we are an adult. As like if there is another relationship compared with the romantic, because the romantic relationship, well, we come very close together and share a large part of our life with them. Yeah, let's see. There, Danir, hi, welcome. Ma'am, I really appreciated your video about Laura Doyle. My friend was seriously harmed by her advice. Okay, yeah, welcome here, and thank you for writing that. I think you're the first person who ever commented on that video. I made it many months ago. I'm happy that it was helpful. So for those of you who don't know about Laura Doyle, one of the things that I tried when I tried to get my marriage to work after it broke down and there was this conflict and tension, I figured that we must both be at fault, because we obviously get into these very dramatic fights. We misunderstand each other, and like, we are both at fault, but the only person I can change is me. So I looked for different, like, I tried to come up with different solutions and try different things, but then I found this woman called Laura Doyle. She is an author, so she has written several books, and then she also started a podcast, and it's called the Empowered Wife podcast. So I started to listen, or when I started to try her advice, she hadn't started the podcast yet. It was just the books. But basically, it was some advice. Let's see. And of course, she sells a coaching service, very expensive to many women. She has like different advice on how to, like, the problem may not be precisely the advice, because it may work for some. It did not work for me, but the thing was that she says that she has this vision of ending world divorce. So divorce should never be necessary if you have the right skills. If you use the right skills, it will, they have never seen it fail if they use the right skills. And also she mentions over and over again how they have helped different women, and she brings guests onto the podcast as well who testify on how their relationship was transformed by the skills. And they also talk about how they used their getaway, like their runaway money that they had saved up to get away from the partner, and they invested that into the coaching. And it was so worth it, because now their family was saved, and they didn't have to break up the family and so on. And I implemented this advice, and it did work. So, or rather, it made things much calmer for a period, because the advice was basically me laying myself flat and not engaging in any argument. Just looking at my own behavior and trying to be my best self and taking care of my own, trying to keep myself happy no matter how he behaved. So not all of it was bad, but so I did have some use of it, because at least the horrible, the escalated fighting they stopped for a while, but that was only temporarily, because as the years progressed after that, the abuse and his behavior increased again, and I actually came close to not being here twice, so he tried to kill me. So I made a video about her and her advice and my experience and why it didn't work, because I think the whole thing about bringing people on and testify, it tricks people, it tricks women and takes their money and keep them stuck in abusive relationships. So yeah, but I'm really happy that it was helpful. Let's see. And Libby says, I'm so sorry, some people have no shame. Yeah, they don't. And spoiler alert, it was not empowering. No, it wasn't. And Libby says, to be clear, I don't think the sexuality is shameful, but the lying. I'm not sure what you mean now. Do you mean when we talked about how some narcissists will be in a homosexual relationship? Or do you mean Laura Doyle and how she wants people, or with females, to embrace their feminine side? I don't know. But no matter what you meant, It is honesty, and that is shameful. And when we talk about Laura Doyle, it is the fact that she's making a lot of money on women being abused. So she's making enormous amounts of money on abused women. And yeah, it's bad. Let's see. Lisa says that Libby is right 100%. Let's see. Danir says, no, you cannot have a relationship where the onus is placed on one person. I'm not sure if I know that word, but you mean where the responsibility is placed on one person. Yes, you're right. It is completely wrong, but before you know about because what Laura Doyle says and what she bases her education on is that the man really, really want to make you happy. So his deepest wish is that you would be happy. And that will naturally come forward if you get off his back, sort of. And you just focus on like keeping yourself in a good mood. But it was wrong. I did that exactly how she said it, and it didn't work. Yeah, let's see. Libby says, I mean, it's a different level of deception. Yeah. Oh, now you're talking about Lisa. Yeah. My heart hurts for you. Many years ago in college, a friend of mine's boyfriend was caught with her male friend. She said it felt violating more than... let's see, you continue down there. Had it been a woman, like a rejection, not just of her, but also a betrayal of the gender. I don't know about all that. Yeah. Yes, I have not experienced it, but it would be like an extra layer of confusion and hurt, I think. Let's see. Danir says, yes, in other words, be a doormat. Yeah, that's the result. But it is sold like not being a doormat. If you listen to her, she will describe it another way. So, and because there are so many testimonies, and the women who are coming on to her podcast are describing very toxic and abusive, sometimes even physically abusive dynamics that have completely cleared up when they use her advice. It sounds believable, but I think that what she's presenting is not, well, it is not the whole truth. And the guests who are coming on, there is no follow-up. So it, like in my case, it may have been working for a shorter while. And the abusive relationships or the toxic relationships also move through these cycles. So there may be a period where things are calmer without there being a real improvement. But it's sad. It's sad that she is keeping women stuck in abuse. Let's see. No. Oh, my friend was so harmed by Doyle's ideology that she ended up trying to take her life. That's horrible. So she was in one of these relationships, and then she listened to Laura Doyle and the advice, and they say that, oh, if you just follow the intimacy skills, then we have never seen the relationship fail if you're doing it correctly. Then, of course, she blamed herself for not doing it correctly. Sorry, that's horrible. Oh. Okay. Daniel says, yes, but notice that these women have used the methods quite recently. Yes, that's what I noticed as well. Or I noticed it after it failed for me. So, but it's a way, because Laura Doyle is making you hang on to that dream that the relationship will work. And she actually, like, in a way, cooperates with the abuser. And saying that, well, the woman has all the power in the relationship. She sets this is what Laura Doyle says, she sets the emotional tone in the relationship. And if she knows the right skills, then things will work out. And that's what many of us think before we understand abuse, that, well, I must be doing something wrong. So she sells this dream that if you just follow the skills, then it will work out. And if you don't get it to work, then you should really invest in my very, very expensive coaching. I don't know how much it cost. I didn't invest in the coaching, but I would guess that it costs many, many $1,000 at least, because of listening to the testimonies of what they give up to invest in that. Lisa says, Laura Doyle sounds male-centered. Yes, but she describes it as being like empowering women. That's the horrible thing. And Libby says, sending so much sympathy. Yeah. I'm really sorry for your friend. I hope she's okay. And Danir says, but if she has all the power, she also carries all the blame and responsibility. Yeah, yes. Exactly. That's the shadow side, let's say, because they don't talk about that. They just say that if it doesn't work, then you must, it should work, so you need to adjust how you're using the skills. You need to do, if you did it properly, it would work. Or they have never seen it fail. That's what they say. So it becomes sort of a cult, when you have a set of rules, it becomes almost like a religion. These are the rules, you can't question, these are the, if you live according to this, it will work. And if it's not working, then you're you need to adjust something in yourself. So it's this loop, there is no possibility in a cult mindset. You can never question the rules of the cult. So it becomes the same thing in the Laura Doyle community, but it's sort of in a different language. But finding her work, when I was in that situation, that gave me hope. Here's something that people are saying is working, and there's a lot of testimonies about how it is working. So I thought, why not give it a chance? And it seemed to work in the beginning because, and I realized this afterward, my husband thought that like he interpreted it as he is like gaining more power, I think. And then he knocked off the abuse. So I was doing what he wanted without him having to enforce it. So that kept things calm for a while. Let's see. Yeah, she preys on vulnerable and abused women. Yes, she does. So that's why I did that video. If any of you want to watch it, it's called Warning for Laura Doyle or something. You will find it on my video or on my channel if you just search for Laura Doyle. It has not been like, I've not had a lot of views on that video so far, but lately it has been taking in some. Let's see if I can. I will just check something. Can I? No. I'm trying to see if I can screen share. No, I don't know how to do that. Let's see. No, I'm still not. Oh, let's see. I will check down here. There, screen share. Okay, let's see. Hela skärmen där. Does it work? Dela. Microsoft Edge. Okay. Let's see. And now? Do you see me now going into YouTube? Let's see. Let's see, just a second. No. Okay, I'm just confusing you. That was annoying. Okay. I didn't manage to do it, but I wanted to show you the video statistics, but I couldn't. But I think that I've had like 150 views or something, and it was like not very much views. But then lately, like last month, it has been ticking up steadily. So if you watch, like a few people watching it every day. So that's good, and I'm hoping that people will not spend their getaway money on Laura Doyle. Let's see. And Libby says, my brother-in-law saw an Instagram post from my husband to his girlfriend and alerted me to their conversation. Oh, your brother-in-law. Okay, so your husband's brother saw that he was talking to... Was it your husband's girlfriend? I'm not sure what you mean, Libby. Is it that your husband is cheating or were cheating? In that case, I'm sorry. That's heartbreaking, of course. Let's see. Lisa says, after this live, I'm watching that video. Yeah, thank you. And it helps me to spread that video. If you click the like or make a comment, you just need to like make a thumbs up or something. Then YouTube get the signals that people are enjoying that video, and they might show it to more people. And you're welcome to share it with anyone you want. Let's see. And then he says, thank you so much. It really helped my friend. I'm very happy that it did, and that then it was worth making. If you listen to that video, I think it was one of the most painful videos to make, because I'm talking about a very horror, or let's see, I'm sharing about the most horrible emotional abusive moment in my marriage in that video. Lisa says, I will leave a heart. Thank you. And let's see, a bright page makes a heart. Let's see, a teal heart. Okay, that's the color, I mean. Yeah. To hell with the romance of it. Okay. Yeah, a bright page is back. Okay. Yeah. Do you have anything more that you want to say? I really enjoy these Thursday evenings with you. I will wait a bit while you're thinking. And then, let's see. I can show you what I'm knitting on right now. Let's see if someone will make a comment. Let's see. I'm doing a cardigan. So it's not at all finished. I've just done the back part. And it's a big, a big piece of garment. And then I'm working on the front. Let's see. It's hard to show on the video. Yeah, here you can see the front part. There is this braid pattern, and I don't know, sometimes I like to mix colors that some might think that they don't go together, but it makes me happy when I work on it. And let's see, I will show you another one. This one, yeah, I made it for my daughter. She has worn it once, but I'm trying to sell my kids on wearing wool. I actually managed to make her put on her wool socks today because it was snow outside. And she came in, they were playing, and then she came in and says, Mommy, my feet are so cold, and there was snow coming into my shoes. And I told her, you know, you have your wool socks there on the shelf. If you put them on, you won't freeze. And then she tried them, and she went out, and then she came back in and she said, it worked. So, and I told her, you know, the sweater will also work if you wear it. you will not feel cold. So if you don't know, wool is warm, and it is known for keeping you warm, even if it gets a bit wet, but it can itch. So that's why they don't want to wear it. Let's see. Lisa says, your energy is wonderful. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for hearing me. Sending you lots of love and laughter. Okay, that's good. Then I was able to make you laugh a bit. Sometimes when we are really down, then it helps. It helps to have a bit of a laugh at the situation. Yeah, I had, like, after the separation, when I was really, really down, I actually had some help from one of my sisters. When I felt horrible, I was numb and sad and afraid, and she came over, and then she insisted that we would watch a clip from a movie called A Fish Like Wanda, if you have seen it. And there is this scene in the end where it's a funny it's a funny clip where there is this guy who is demeaning and lying and so on. And then he has eaten the fish. And when I can't remember, because it was a long time since I saw the full movie, but I only saw this clip. But in the clip, the other guy is really, really angry at him for eating the fish, and he just keeps mocking him. And then he comes driving towards him on this huge machine that, like, it has I think it is supposed to flatten cement. It's very heavy, and then he drives to him very slowly and is screaming revenge because of him eating the fish. And the other guy, who is the mean liar, he just tries to mock him, but then he discovers that his feet is stuck in the cement. And yeah, we had a laugh at it anyway. And at that moment, it felt that it really helped to laugh at the situation. And she said that you should not be so down about the situation with your ex-husband, because you should be more like this guy who just wants revenge. Let's see. Bright Page says, I almost ran over mine when my kids were in the back of the SUV, our then 7-year-old seeing before I did. Dad is so busted when he came out of work hand in hand with one of his girlfriends. Oh, yes, I remember. Now you shared this before, how you saw your husband walking with another woman when you were driving with the kids in the back seat. Yeah, you did get that revenge feeling. You almost ran him over. Let's see. And Lydia writes in Swedish, vad mysigt I vintervädret. Yeah, that's cozy in the winter storm. Yeah, we've had a lot of snow here in Sweden, even in the southern parts where it is usually no snow. Then there has been some snow. So yeah, it's cozy with wool clothing. Let's see. And Bright Page, you like the shirt. Libby says, wool is so much warmer. Yes. I have really fallen in love with the wool yarn. So almost everything that I'm knitting now is in wool, or sometimes a wool mix, like 80% wool or something. And I really like it. It's warm and cozy. Let's see. And Libby says, my shock was a while back, not so bad now. Yeah. There is a shock when you see it with your own eyes, him being unfaithful. Mine was also unfaithful, but I did never see him with my own eyes committing the act, so or holding hands. Yeah, but the shock of realizing that you are betrayed dims with time. Let's see. Danir says, you have such a kind and gentle presence. I pray that life has been kinder to you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you mean that it will be kinder, or thank you. I'm trying to build now a different, I am building a better life for myself and my kids now. But it is a process to, come out of the relationship. In my case, we were also stalked and we had to move several times. But now it has been, let's see, it's almost 11 months since we last moved. And I started to work again, and I worked through a lot of the memories and understood a lot of what happened, and doing better slowly. So I'm hoping that, or I am hopeful that life will be better in the future. But I can, let's see, I can talk a bit about that, because some of you saw last week I did a video which I filmed on a day that was not a happy day. I think it was the first, it was the first day getting back to work after the holidays, and I had a really heavy day. And I also talked a bit in that video about, sometimes things feel hard, and realizing that I was abused and having to leave everything behind and being stalked and living in hiding or under protected identity. And it can feel hard sometimes. And sometimes also I'm still dealing with some mental fatigue from it is getting better, but still dealing with that. So I wanted to share, because normally, I get some bad days and then I shrug it off and move on. But I felt that it is also important to share that part of the healing journey, that things are not always smooth and easy for me either. And also, talking about that part of missing the fantasy, that like before you understand that I was abused, the whole thing was I was tricked, and nothing was real from his side. It's a harsh reality to have to face. So let's see. Love from Ohio. Oh, Ohio. You mean that you live in Ohio? Love back from Sweden. Okay. Okay. Ohio, USA. Yes. Thank you for clarifying. I knew that it was in USA. I'm not sure which part of the country it is, but it's amazing that we have so many viewers from different parts of the world coming together, and that we can come and share experiences and support each other. Okay. I am hearing that one of my kids is waking up. I usually do these live streams when they are asleep, but now I hear that one of them has woken up. So I think that it can be a good time to wrap it up. Thank you everyone for joining me. And as I said, the live streams I do them every Thursday, the same time. So if you want to check in, if you are free another Thursday, then you're welcome to join us. Okay, then I wish you a pleasant evening. And if you think of some questions afterwards, then you're very welcome to write them in the comments. And you're welcome, Lydia. Okay, bye everyone.